Okay, you're nodding. Okay, perfect. All right.
Yeah.
So I want to caveat by saying that yes, the presentation or the workshop is called Scale Your Tech Brand with a Disruptive Story. It does actually, this framework applies for any industry that you're in. So don't worry too much if I talk about tech. Lean in and you will get value in your industry as well. So some of you know me already, but for those of you who don't, I'll just tell you a little bit about me. I just got some new photos done, so of course I wanted to show off some of my new photos. I'm a strategist and storyteller. I've always worked in brand and marketing my entire career. I think when I did a count, it was like 16 years. So that's how long I've been in the industry. So I've grown brands over 50 industries in 10 countries. I've worked across SMEs, startups, Fortune 500 companies. I really enjoy the variety, and I get to then be able to take best practices from certain industries or types of businesses and then apply them to others. And I'm really on a mission to help businesses cut through with storytelling. And I'll tell you why I believe storytelling is the future. So just to give you a bit of a heads up about today's session, it will be hands-on / brain intense. So we will require you to do some work and some thinking around your business and your story. I will definitely ask for participation. Jump in, ask questions, make comments. I'd love to, make this a conversation rather than me giving you a lecture. And I'm definitely not Netflix, so I can see you. And, when I ask you something, I can see you stare blankly, if that's the case. And you'll need something to write with. So it could be your laptop. You can start a new page, or pen and paper, electronic, whatever. You just need something to write with. All right. Cool. So, did you think anyone could have a presentation or a talk in 2024 without showing her face? Did you think you was going to escape her? We see her everywhere, right? It's like, it's the Taylor Swift effect. Kieran, no problem. I got your note. Just be safe while you're driving. It's the Taylor Swift effect, right? She's a cultural phenomenon. We can't escape her. She's everywhere. But how does she do it? How did she do it? People say these things about her, right? They talk about, she doesn't have the strongest vocals. They compare her with a few other female artists, and rightly so. She doesn't have the strongest vocals, and she never claims to. She's not the sexiest. She doesn't use her sex appeal. She doesn't try and do that. There's artists who, go in with that angle, and they, that's what they're known for. She doesn't do that. And she doesn't have famous parents. But the numbers speak for itself. A record of $2 billion. That's a whole new record for one single tour. So how does she do that? And what I really see is her disruptor. One is her storytelling through her music, through her lyrics. And the other one is her deep connection to her audience. She's always on the pulse. If you watch or listen to any interviews that she gives, how she presents herself, she's always got her finger on the pulse around what her audience wants. What are they saying? What are their hidden desires? And she releases things and works things into her music and her shows and all of that. She's got a really deep connection, like a two-way conversation with her audience. So the good news is that it's possible for all of us to have that. It's possible for all of us to unlock this disruptor. And if Taylor Swift proves that, actually, that storytelling is beyond and more than just entertainment. It's a disruptor. It's how she was able to carve out her own space and connect with people on a deeper level and turn her audience into raving fans. So if this isn't proof that storytelling works, I don't know what is. So today I want to show you how to do just that. So first, let's get into what is a disruptive story. And the way that I'd like to talk about it is a disruptive story allows you to play on a whole new level. It's not about, oh, my competitor is here. How do I be a little bit better? No. It's like a whole new level. You carve out a whole new stage for yourself. You create your own stage, just like Taylor Swift did. She's on a level that's unparalleled to anybody else. You cannot compare her. And you become impossible to ignore. So that's what a disruptive story allows for your brand. So let's come on to that. Does anyone know what this is? Is anyone familiar with this? Just like wave your hand or type it in the chat. Or
Yes,
just,
it's a Hoover.
yes, Edwina.
It's a Hoover.
It's a Hoover, Anything more specific about it? Do you know what?
Well, it's a vacuum cleaner, but yeah, the brand became so synonymous that the product became the brand name.
Yeah, okay. Nice.
Or is it a Dyson? Sorry.
I was going to say it's either a Dyson or a Dyson knockoff. Maybe.
Okay, good.
Sorry, I meant to say, yeah.
Dyson. Awesome. Yeah, it is a Dyson.
Hoover brought me back.
It's actually one of Dyson's first, from what Google tells me anyway, so don't quote me on it, but it's apparently Dyson's either one of the first or the first Dyson vacuum cleaner model. And we all know about Dyson as a brand. You know, their products are definitely disruptors. And I want to show you how they've done that so that we can steal something from their framework for your own brand as well. So I want to get into the framework now, and I'm going to show you the framework, and then I'm going to give you some time to do the work yourself, and we'll interact along the way and hear what you're getting or hear what you're putting down for your brand, so that in sharing that, it just allows other people, some things may click for people when they hear from other people. So let's get into it. So here's a framework for how to get to what's your disruptive story. First, we have the key problem that your target audience wants solved. Usually this is something like an obvious problem, you know, something that you kind of can just by the, without really doing much guesswork or much thinking, you go, oh yeah, for that industry, for that product, that the audience wants this. Then there's a deeper level or a next level, which is what every brand in your industry competes on to solve. So it's usually connected to the first one. So there's a key problem that your target audience wants solved. And then there's every competitor rushing or shouting from the rooftop that they're solving that problem. And again, don't worry if this sounds too conceptual. I will go through a detailed example and that will become clearer for you. So this is what your competitors are saying are their strengths. So it's not hard to find. If you just go to 5 of your competitors' websites, it will be pretty obvious to you what they're all saying. So it's a common thing that everyone's kind of fighting to own or compete in that space. Then there's a next layer to that, a layer that a lot of people overlook, which is other problems that nobody addresses within your industry. Or it could be what your target audience really wants that's not obvious to them. In other words, it's your target audiences and your competitors' blind spots. And then based on that, you come up with your disruptive idea based on that blind spot. And then it's backed by a feature. So if you're a product, it's backed by a feature or features that make that disruptive idea compelling or believable. And if you're a service, it's usually backed by a process. It could be a qualification you have or just a special connection or experience that you have within that industry. So it's like your secret sauce. So let's have a look at how that works for the Dyson vacuum. So what the audience says, I want a powerful vacuum that keeps my home clean. It's pretty obvious, right? Like I said, this is an obvious problem. It's not, you don't need to dig any deep. You just go, yep, I get it. Everyone wants a powerful vacuum that keeps their home clean. Simple. So all the competitors are saying powerful suction. Hey, we've got powerful suction. You're for clean floors. Our vacuum is this times more powerful. Everyone's talking about the powerful suction. But what Dyson discovered was something that was less common, was something that was a blind spot to the industry. And he discovered it through his own experience, that when he was using his vacuum cleaner, he kept losing suction because the bag kept getting clogged. So here's a hidden pain point, and a pain point that's not been uncovered. I'm frustrated when vacuums lose suction over time. That's the blind spot. It's the target audience's blind spot. Like, they know they're frustrated about something. They may not really be articulating it or even thinking that there's they don't even know the source of the problem. They just know that, like, whatever it is, I know that my vacuum cleaner is powerful, but over time it loses suction, and I hate that. And it's the competitor's blind spot because no one's talking about it so far, not until Dyson came in. So what did Dyson do? They created the first vacuum with no loss of suction. That was their disruptive idea. And backed by a feature, which is a patented bagless cyclonic technology. It's really important that the disruptive idea is the one that's leading the message, and it's backed by a feature. So I'm going to give you a chance to do this for yourself now. But before I get into that, I'm just looking around the screen. Any questions or anything that you're not clear about with the Dyson example?
Hi.
Hey, Edwina.
I have a suspicion that my key problem and my other problem that nobody's addressing are the same. Is that okay?
Okay, can you tell me a bit more? Like, give us a sense. What's your industry? What's the problem?
Oh, sorry. I think it's actually the other problems that nobody addresses.
Mm.
And my actually, sorry, ignore me. I'm just gonna shut up.
No, it's good.
No,
It's good
I
to
do
work
think
it out.
that
Yeah.
I think two of my things are the same. I
Okay.
just can't remember
Tell
which
us your industry. What industry are you in?
one. Fitness.
Okay, fitness. And what do you do? Are you a fitness coach or?
No, so it's kind of not complex, but it's it doesn't exist yet, but it's
Okay.
like a matchmaking tool for women to find other women to work out with.
Nice. Okay.
Key problem that your target audience wants to solve, what every brand in your industry competes to solve, other problems that your audience.
Yeah, so what have you identified was the common problem?
So the key problem is that, especially since COVID and just the gym industry, exercise in general, all these apps have you like at home on the floor doing workouts by yourself, and there's no sense of like accountability or community. Or if you're a woman, you can't exactly go out exercising at 6 o'clock in the morning or 6 o'clock at night when it's dark, because obviously, men, rapey, die. So the problem is that there's a lack of community and a lack of accountability. But nobody's solving that. Everyone's only solving the problem of get skinny.
Yeah, so it could be already that you like got to that hidden problem. So it could be that the common problem is like, I want to lose weight. And then the hidden problem is like, I can't trust myself to do that. I'm not accountable to myself or something like that.
Okay.
Try that, try work with that and see what you come up with. But that's great. Thanks for raising that, because I think it's helpful to hear out loud.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome. All right, so let me just go to the framework. Before I do that, I want to show you as well how then Dyson brings it to life via storytelling, because you'll get a chance to do that as well. So he basically says, While cleaning my home, I noticed the more dust the vacuum removed, the worse it performed. Ripping open the bag, I saw the problem. Dust clogged its pores, making suction fade. I started thinking about a solution. 5 years, 5,127 prototypes later, I had it. The first vacuum with no loss of suction. So in terms of that, what we want to do is start with a personal story to highlight the problem. If it's something that you've experienced, that's compelling, like what Dyson has said. So share that. But sometimes it's not what you've experienced, it's what you've seen other people experience. So you share that too, as long as it's a story, as long as it's a personal story about you, about someone close to you who's experienced that problem. Then you uncover the hidden pain point or blind spots. You know, he said, I saw the problem. Dust clogged its pores, making the suction fade. He saw that the problem was with the bag. And then present your disruptive idea. You know, here's what I did. Here's a methodology. Here's the idea. Here's why this is disruptive. Cool. So I'll get to that as well. But for now, let's go back to the framework and let's do some work on that. Okay. So the key problem that your target wants solved. Is anyone not clear about theirs? Does anyone want to brainstorm a little bit about what theirs could be, or they're a bit unsure about in the industry? Usually this one is the obvious one. So if you've got something to write with, I want you to write that down. What's the key problem that your target audience wants solved? All right, and if you've done that, I want you to now think about what every brand in your industry competes on to solve. So what are competitors saying is their strength? What's the common thing that you can see on your competitors' messaging or website?
I had a question for you.
Yes,
What if you don't believe that there is a competitor in the field that you're about to go into?
Okay. Do you mind telling us a bit about the field?
Yeah, sure. I do what's called first aid and craft service for films in Vancouver, and I would like to stop doing it for big production companies, but go out and take their service, but into the wilderness where they're doing big car commercials and filming bears and things like that. I don't believe that I've heard of anybody else that's presently doing that.
Right. So what you do is it's like a service that you provide to make sure everyone stays, like if injuries happen or something, they're taken care of.
But you're also providing all the food, lunch, donuts, coffee, all eating for the whole day.
So it's first aid and catering.
Yes, yeah, they combine it together. It's lucky them.
Nice. Okay, cool. So you want to think about the closest competitor, right? So your audience is the way to think about competitor is, and especially if you're like, you feel like I'm a disruptor in my field, it's not really anyone directly competing. So the way to think about it is that there's already something your audience is doing. There's something else they're doing. There's another service they're using. It could be they're using a combination of services, Shay, to meet that one service that you're offering. For example, they maybe carry around a first aid kit, or you know, they buy their own catering, or they hire someone else who does catering. So they'll have something already that's there. I think you might have to think about who's going to be the bigger like what do you have to convince them to switch from to come to you? So are they people who would already have a catering preference through another, you know, vendor, and that's where to switch them? Or is the first aid part more important? You know, I think you have to think about, am I first aid with added on catering, or am I catering with added on first aid?
Thank you.
You're welcome. I hope that helps.
What if it's in my case, it's not so much about one or two competitors. The way I do my go about structuring a partnership or a whole commercial construct, what if that's unique and there's not one necessary competition in the market
Okay.
in the tech industry? So what I find in the market is you find standard IT partners, you'd find you know, big corporations with their own partnerships. What they can't do really well is how to custom curate commercial customer acquisition strategies that's got a multi-channel in it, and that's something that's not out there that I can see.
Okay. So what are they currently doing? Those companies, where are they currently going to get some of those things addressed?
Well, a lot of them have come to me in the past, but I've done it for someone else, and now I'm starting on my own. So that's the dilemma, in the sense, they know my brand, they know what I can do, they know I'm well connected. And one of the things I do is I just don't make those introductions and connections and walk away. I actually do ensure that whenever those engagements occur, they occur on an ongoing basis, and it's a transparent engagement, including commercials and, you know, roles and responsibilities, and it's an ongoing path. So it's not a one-time activity, and I've never seen any small or big vendor do it so sustainably and consistently in the last 15 years.
Yeah, okay. So would you say the main thing that they're coming is the connections, like the doors that it opens?
One of it, but the other thing is how to get them working efficiently together. So if you look at a standard IT product training or enablement, here's the webinar, and good luck. You know, bring your customers along, but no one actually teaches that business, the reseller business, or the customer, how to work with that ecosystem with their partners, with their vendors, most efficiently to get the best out of that program or engagement. And that's my USP. I babysit and teach everyone, do the deals, and then I keep that ongoing engagement consistent, and grow the business for the vendor as well as the partner.
Okay, so I can think of a few other verticals that maybe do some of the things that you're saying, and you might have to say, you know, what's the one that I have to compete with the most? So I could think about business coaches, sales coaches, sometimes startups bringing advisors, you know, board members. They might go into, like, you know, incubators, accelerators, getting that connection from there. So there's a few ways that they're currently thinking that they should get those needs met. So it's not a competitor in the traditional sense, but think about it of who else could provide some of those things.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool. Thank you.
Yeah, good. Thanks for asking. Is anyone else struggling a little bit with the other problems that nobody addresses? Let's hear some examples then of people who have got it. So what are some of your examples of problems that your target audience have that's a blind spot? Does anyone want to share? Ian, is that your hand up?
Yo.
Great. Hi. Just tell
Hi.
us the industry so that we can kind of try and get into your world. Tell us the industry and then tell us what's the problem no one addresses.
So we're in websites and the associated digital marketing.
Cool.
So usually people want a website,
Yep.
and the competitors that every brand has, they're like a great looking website, a cheap website, an easy website.
Yep.
But the thing that nobody's addressing in that space a lot of the times is that the website doesn't automatically generate leads. So you can have a website, but the reason for a website usually is because you want someone to contact you. You're going to sell something. That's what it's for. But there's the thing no one talks about. Oh, generating leads. That's like the underpack. It's the websites. So our idea is not only build a website, but deliver leads from the website.
Yeah. Great. That's amazing. So that's really clear. And yeah, I can really see it. You're right. You know, another thing about a hidden pain point, especially if you kind of, you know, are part of that, or you know, like, for example, we all know about websites, so we can kind of relate to you, but you want people kind of going, yeah, like, yeah, you're right. You know, so if you want to test out your ideas, not just you, Ian, anyone else, you want to get that like resonating, like, yeah, you're right. No one talks about that. So great work, Ian. Anyone else want to share where they got to around the problems that no one else is solving for with your target audience?
I think I'll go, Nimartha.
Yes. Hi, Shakun.
Hi. So I think, like Dyson, I also had my own personal story why I started Bird this year, because I went through the whole pain of not having anybody to rely on when I came to Australia. And it just opened up my mind to the whole possibility that there might be other people like me who relocate to Australia and then they have nobody to rely on in terms of understanding the system, to find an accommodation, to where to put their children in school. That was like just the settlement part. And then where to find the jobs, how to really get insights and what works in Australia when it comes to looking for a job and things like that. So that's how I launched my whole coaching practice. And the more I went into it, the more I spoke, I realized that the pain point was basically that there was lack of one single individual who will take pain on their behalf to do all that. And I thought I will become that one person who takes the pain on their behalf to go look for the accommodations, find them furniture stores, anything that they want to do in that engagement period with me. So that became that's how I addressed the problem. And competition wise, I realized that there was no competition when it came to the settlement part to help people settle down. Until I met Shama, I think that then there was this, she was doing a bit of what I had in mind and she's doing a good job. But beyond that, normally people would address things like jobs. It's very common problem solving thing, like, okay, come, we will help you find the jobs, and then they will get any menial job that will help them just, you know, get supported to support themselves during their early struggling years. So but the blind spot remains that people are offering jobs, people are doing a lot to help them get them, but nobody knows how to train them to prepare themselves to be Australia ready. So that became my niche. That I've started calling myself a matchmaker who provides Australia ready talent to the local businesses to find, you know, the right talent for their teams if they're expanding or hiring the members. So that became basically the idea, and now I'm working towards it in a nutshell.
Yeah, that's really great. And that's really cool because I can hear that there's a deeper pain point, right? You use the word Australia ready, but you could also even say something like, you know, because people come to a new country, it's not about, oh, yes, there is an aspect of, oh, let me get a house, let me get a job. But what's the hidden, what's that? It's not even really hidden. It's just no one really talks about it. But what's that desire when they go to a new country? The desire is to belong, isn't it?
To accepted, yeah.
Yeah, to belong, to be like, I'm part of this. How do I be part of this society? How do I fit in effortlessly is what people want.
Yeah.
Right. So that's great. And I think, you know, that emotional message, you can dial that up more as well. Because Australia Ready is one aspect that will appeal to the businesses. Yeah. But for the people themselves, there's probably something around feeling like connected and belonging.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing. great. Yeah, thanks for sharing all of those examples. It really helps to bring it to life. So if you haven't done it already, start to brainstorm and, don't worry about getting it perfect or I've got to make it sound really good. Just put it down. What's the disruptive idea? What's your disruptive idea? And I'll show you the Dyson example just so you can see how simple it is. It's just one sentence. And if you're ready, you've got something to share, please let us know. We'd love to hear it, and it helps as well. Everything that you share contributes to every one of us here. We can learn. And if you're stuck, also let me know, and then we can workshop it together.
I can share not just in my industry, but probably other industry that probably in touch base earlier about lead and sales. I'm in banking, finance, or broking. So a lot of people talk about generate lead, generate sales. For startup or people who new to industry, they don't know how, and the pain point is they just keep posting on social media, but posting itself is not sales. And that's the problem I found. And even other industry, like people who knew, like I connect with some event organizer. So that's the problem I found. People in various industry that have problem how to promote their brand, how to convey, how to tell their story.
Okay, great.
That's specific to them and not the whole. I mean, the whole industry, what they want to achieve, say in banking, finance, everyone wants to build wealth, help the customer build wealth, but the journey to help the customer, the step, how do they get there and how they promote their brand?
Yeah, amazing. And so what have you come up with as your disruptive idea? Like, what's that one sentence, one or two sentences about your business? What do you do to help?
I don't have a business at the moment, but I'm just like on the learning journey.
Okay.
And then when I'm ready, I guess, then I have enough knowledge and experience or enough, like through a class like this, hearing different people sharing their story and, you sort of get idea.
Okay. So have you got any idea around what might be, if you were to start a business, what could be your disruptive idea? What could you bring to the table that no one's really addressing?
I think if I'm going to start my business, regardless whether service or product or selling service or product, I think I'm just going to be around my brand, like who I am, like authentic, reliability, efficiency. Start with myself as a brand first, and then sell the service, the product, common product. Yeah, that's just.
Okay. Can I offer you something? Because it might be, take it if you think it applies. If not, just, throw it away. But what I can hear about this whole, because a lot of us in marketing, we speak about it. So, and also in, sales, we talk about leads, generating leads, right? Generating sales, generating leads. Like people want leads, people want leads. I want you to challenge that. Like, do people want leads?
Okay.
Do people want leads? Like, as business owners, do you want leads? Or what you really want is a business that's sustainable. What you really want is customers that are there, that are paying you the right amount of money, that you love, that you enjoy working with, and that stay with you.
More like the purpose, the impact I'm making people's life. Because I heard like one broker told me, look, I bought lead, but it's not quality lead. It doesn't convert to business. And and that got me questioned too.
So people, that's the thing, right? That's the surface level. Everybody talks about that. You don't have to look far to hear leads. Everybody talks about leads. If you look at, ask people who are business owners, what's their dream? They want financial freedom. People say that. I want stability, freedom. they think that leads is an answer to that. But what they really want is, you know, if you'd had no leads, T, or if any one of you had no leads, you had 5 customers that paid more than enough what you wanted, and they stuck with you, and they're like, we're not going anywhere, we love you, we're here. Then you won't want any more leads. You'll just be like, oh, amazing, I have these 5 customers, they're paying me 10K each or whatever the, you know, amount. I'm set. I'm good. I'm making $500,000 a year. No need for leads. I'm good. Right? So people want that. They want that stability, that certainty, that like reassurance that I'll have that kind of sustainable business. And we're all saying, okay, the answer is leads, but maybe it's not. Maybe there's a different way to say it. I don't know the answer. It's not my industry, but just something to help challenge the thinking.
Yeah, I question because I hear people say, I have this channel, they provide lead, we bought lead, or someone refers lead, but it's expensive because it doesn't convert to business. And yeah, I sort of challenge myself, but I'm like, okay, is it lead that we want, or is it something else?
Yeah, that's right. And the other thing about that as well, right? Another way to think about it, to challenge our thinking, is people say they want leads, and then as you say, they don't know how to convert the leads. So actually what they want is a customer. They want a sale. So what do we do to help facilitate that sale? Are we just going to deliver them leads, or do we actually hold their hand a bit more and go, let us help you make the sale. Let us help you convert those leads into sales, because leads are useless if people can't convert them.
Yeah, true.
Amazing. So look, thank you, because that really opens up something, and you know, we get to like bounce a little bit, which is nice. So thanks, T. Anyone else have got their disruptive idea that they want to share, or anyone still working on it and you want to workshop it together?
My sister actually just helped me come up with a brilliant idea. So mine is an app that connects available, qualified, experienced first aid craft service keys with production companies.
Amazing.
So thank you for your workshop, because that's just a big breakthrough for me.
Amazing. That's awesome. That's great. Good to hear. And it's awesome to see that you're like lit up, you know. That's amazing that you're inspired by your idea. That's awesome. Cool. So if you haven't got it already, just, you know, keep thinking on it. You don't have to pressure yourself to get it right within this workshop, but at least you've now got the framework for that thinking. And then think about what backs that up. What's the feature? What is it that you offer? What is a qualification? Is it a process? Is it something, a IP that you've got, for example? So any questions about that part, the feature or IP? Is anyone struggling with that or unsure? No? Okay. So now let's give you some time to actually write it out. It doesn't need to be long. As you can see, it's 1 or 2 sentences telling your story, uncovering the hidden pain point, and then present your disruptive idea. You know, it's something like, I've been, you know, when this happened to me, or when I was faced with this problem, here's what I realized. Here's what I realized. Everyone's talking about this, but no one's really helping with this. Or I realized I got stuck with this and I was like, oh, how come no one's solving this problem? So it's like it's a story that tells of a realization you have. You know, when I saw people, I helped a lot of people in this industry, I realized, wow, everyone's helping them get leads, but no one's really helping them convert those leads, right? So it's as simple as it's a personal story that leads to a realization of that hidden pain point. And then you go, you know, you conclude it with, you know, that's why I've created this proprietary model. That's why I've created this business. And what it does is, that's why I've created this program. And what's so special about this program is X. So give that a go. I'll give you a couple of minutes to do that. And again, if you want to workshop it out together, some people just like talking it out, happy to do that as well. Does anyone want to share what they've got to? Are you still writing?
Okay, I think I've got mine. Sorry,
Okay.
I don't have my camera on because my internet's being a bit funky. So if I
No
drop
problem.
out, just let me know.
No problem. We can hear you well, so all good.
Okay, cool. So mine is, as a larger woman, for most gym classes and fitness groups, I can't even do the warm-up job. This leads me to feel isolated, unwelcome, and just not considered. The fitness industry is catered towards people who are already inclined and able to participate in fitness. It doesn't address the hurdle that new people have to overcome. That's why I've created Meet Yumi, an app that connects women based on their fitness levels, routines, locations, and interests so they can have a sense of community, accountability, and set them up for success.
Great. That's really clear. The problem is really clear. And it's just like in one, that was like 10 seconds. I'm just like, I'm in your world, Edwina. I'm like, wow, I really get this.
Okay.
So that's amazing. That's great.
Okay. I tend to waffle a bit, so I was a bit worried if it was too waffly, but
No, that's really great. I mean, I can see people smiling. So Neri's giving you a love heart. Ian's
Yes.
giving you a thumbs up, 2 thumbs up.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, great. And there's something as well, Edwina, like it's amazing that you said as a, you put yourself out there being vulnerable as a larger person. I think there's something to be said about that, around that hidden pain point of like someone
That
who's
possibility.
someone who's not confident in themselves, or they're like, because I get it. We've all been there. Like, have we not been there? Like, I've gone to gym classes and I'm like, I'm 5 steps behind everybody. I can't move at this speed.
Yeah.
You just feel embarrassed, and then you leave because you feel like I don't belong.
I feel like an idiot. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. It's like, I don't need one more thing judging me. I'm trying to get healthy,
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Ian has got something to contribute.
If it wasn't for my wife going to the Pilates class, I wouldn't go. I'm unco and don't keep up with the class. I'd need to join yours as
man.
well, Edwina.
Yeah.
Amazing. Great. Awesome, Edwina. Thanks for sharing. Anyone else want to share your disruptive idea and get some validation from the room? Practice saying it out loud. Yes, Neri?
Hi. Can you hear me well?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. So, my name is Neri. I am a refugee activist, and I started my journey as an activist because it's not easy to be a woman refugee, and I wanted to support other women. And I got so good at it that I won several awards from the United Nations and UNHCR, because I built basically a communication network through different technological tools and social medias in order to spread information, like valuable information for people. But at some point, I noticed that that was not enough, even though I reached 1 million beneficiaries on my own, which is a huge number for one person. But I wanted to help other organizations, other small organizations that don't have the resources, that they are struggling like me in the beginning, to learn all these things, to learn how international cooperation works, to learn all the methodologies for these mail plan and reports that they want, that are like super annoying, and at the end of the day they are like the roadblocks for actually doing implementation work. So my idea was to not only build an alliance within a small civic society organization so we can gather data to create rapid responses to what the challenges that refugees are having all over the world, but also change those power dynamics that isolate them for accessing further funding. And in the set, so while we're gathering data, we are also building capacity within them in behavioral strategy communications, and I don't know, it have made mail plan reporting, budgeting, finding accountants that will help them, like having this hub where they will have the support to grow to all their capacity. Because what I saw in the humanitarian field was that many CSOs or a small organization starts, but then when the funding ends, they are not sustainable in time to access bigger level of fundings. And that is international cooperation dynamics in many ways, because they don't want them to, in some ways it feels like they don't want them to grow and keep them competing with each other to access funding. And that is something that prevents them from working together too.
Yeah, wow. So it sounds like you found a really a complex like dynamic, but you found your niche within that, or your disruptive idea within that. Have you got like a written down of your story, like a few sentences, disruptive story that we're working on? Have you worked that out, what that is?
Not yet. I think that my main problem is that I talk too much.
Well, it helps to be able to, write it down, because sometimes it happens to everybody, right? When we're not really clear what we're saying, we kind of tend to overemphasize the point. But we using this framework, look what like how Edwina, she just said her whole thing in few sentences, 10 seconds, and we didn't need to hear more. It was like, wow, that's compelling. That's like, wow. So I encourage you to have a look at this framework. If it doesn't work for you to do it now, no problem. Take a screenshot, make sure that you have this framework, reach out to me, happy to book a call and help you work through it so that you have something succinct, and then you can explain the problem in a way that's people just go, oh, okay, yep, I get it. Cool, but thank you for sharing that.
Thank you. And Edwina, when you launch your app, let me know, because I can be your client. I train alone in my house.
There you go.
Yeah, absolutely. Message me your LinkedIn and we'll connect.
Yeah, so that's a good point. If you want to, there's a group chat option here. So feel free to connect with each other. We're all here. You've given your valuable time out of your working day. Make some new connections. You can put in your LinkedIn profile links in the chat, or your email address, or whatever way you want people to connect with you. So take the time to do that. Oh, I can see people putting their links in there. Awesome. Cool. All right. Well, I'll let you do that. So what I want you to take away from today really is speak to your audience's hidden pain points. Have a look at what is it that no one's really talking about. And a lot of you have articulated that really well. So that's amazing. And then use storytelling to connect. So always have a personal story. If it's not yours, it's someone else, but always have a personal story to connect. So I just want to hear quickly from one or two people, what are some of your key takeaways from this session, if you'd be willing to share?
I can share. Yeah.
Sarita, go for it.
Yeah. So like Ian, I do have a digital marketing and a software development company, and it's actually a bit difficult for us to sort of, for me, and also I have two other co-founders as well. So for us to sort of narrow down on what exactly that we can offer as do, because there are so many competitors out there and so many different things that they offer. But I was thinking along the lines of usually digital marketing companies talk about lead generation, like you said, 𝘋𝘪𝘴𝘳𝘵, mostly about the lead generation. That's only 3% of people that lands on your site or interact with you, but 97% of them might not have that purchase intent. So it's about how to get other companies who engage with us to think about that 97% and get them start engaging with their brands is the key thing. So that's something we need to work on, what kind of tools that you can give them to sort of implement that allows them to engage with that 97% that may become clients at some point, but do not have a buying intention right now. So yeah, so it got me thinking along those lines, which is very important. To think about how to narrow it down, craft that story. So thanks for that. Yeah.
You're welcome. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, this is really great what Sarita said, because if anything, I hope that this session leaves you questioning and even questioning your own current messaging, because that's where we have to start from. That's how we get deeper, is we start to question, hang on a minute, is this what I'm talking about? Is this just a common thing everyone's saying? Like, what's really at the heart of this? What's at the root of this issue that no one's talking about? So that's great, Sarita. Cool. So a lot of people ask me, you know, how do I help businesses? So if you don't mind, I just want to take 30 seconds to tell you a little bit about how I help, and then leave it to you guys in terms of what you want to do with that. But basically, I help people through a coaching program called the Influential Founder Program. And it's an 8-week program. And the outcomes of the program are, number one, all aspects of your brand story that you can use in your content and marketing materials. So there's different components of a brand story. Like today, we worked on one aspect, which was your disruptive brand story, your core disruptive idea. There's other aspects such as your founder story, your purpose, your belief statement, your manifesto. And some of these words may not make sense to you, and that's okay. There's your competitive advantage. So there's several components of your brand story. And basically this program will help you craft all of that story. So you leave with all of those content for your marketing materials. You then also get to use that on your website. It becomes a website copy that you can use for a website that actually reliably converts, because you're speaking directly to people's pain points. And you'll also get out of this program a content strategy to build influence and credibility. So a lot of times people get stuck on, what do I post on LinkedIn? What do I say? out of this 8-week program, you'll get clarity around what should be your key messages, what should be the key things that you talk about. So that's a little bit about the Influential Founder Program. If you would like to know more about that, happy to have a chat with you. You can schedule a call just by scanning this QR code. Happy to brainstorm with you around how can we, whether I think we can help you, whether we think the coaching program could be right for you. Or even if you're not sure, you just want to have a chat, you know, Chantel and Ian can confirm that I just love helping and talking to people. So book a call with me anyway, so we can have a chat. So I give you a few seconds to scan. I might have some spots tomorrow, but otherwise it probably is going to be next year. Cool. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being really generous of your time and your attention and your participation. I hope that you found this valuable. I hope you get to use it in your business and start to see it resonate with people. And I'd love to be in touch. So if you haven't, if we're not connected already, make sure that you're connected with me, and I'd love to chat. So again, feel free to book in a call. Thank you. Thanks, everybody. I'll stay around. I'll stay on. If you want to still network with each other, feel free to drop your links in the chat. I'll stay on for a bit if you've got any questions or anything at all.
Thanks, Namrata. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, Tarita.